DJ Khaled.
Ooh, hey, that's not how we start our podcast. NBA is back is probably the best thing to say there. I don't think we need to bring any Khaled anywhere near any of this, but that's what this is all about. We got Regi, we got Lynch, we got Vince, and we have myself, Justin. It is the Chunk Podcast. We are back, and we're talking basketball for the first time in what feels like about half a year. Which I think is, if you look at the calendar, it's about been a half a year. And we still don't have a resolution to the 2019-2020 NBA season. However, contingencies are in place. We now have the bubble in Orlando, and a lot to unpack there now that the players are actually in the bubble. And also the teams that were invited, there's some interesting picks there, and I'm just excited to see how this all plays out. But we're going to get into it. Guys, are you guys excited? It's freaking basketball time. It's like less than a week away here.
I was born ready. So when is the official start of the bubble?
Friday.
We are obviously clearly
This
informed.
Friday?
No. Informed. No, okay, listen, it's the 30th, I believe. Yeah. It is the July 30th will be the first night games. And then the Friday following, we'll start having full days worth of basketball. It's literally going to be, I'm going to melt into my couch. It's going to be just an absolutely amazing time to be alive.
From like noon to midnight, right?
Right. It is like you're getting it. I think it starts like at 1 Eastern at the earliest. And then you'll see it the game on consistently throughout the day.
1, 4, 7, 10.
Going to be spectacular. But the NBA bubble that they've built in Orlando, obviously it's at the Disney resorts. It's not even really Orlando, let's be real. It's like Kissimmee, right? They've like basically bought.
It's Disney.
It's Disney. It's not. You might as well
Disney's its own like little place.
It should be called Disney Florida, and then everyone just understands. It's really not Orlando.
I'm surprised it's not.
Right. Everyone's saying Orlando's got
Disney
home court,
Florida.
But I mean, let's be real. Do they even have home court advantage when they're playing at their home court? I mean.
Are the Magic even in this?
They are. They're in this.
They are.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are in this right now. Okay.
Wow, Reg.
Yes. So real quick, well, obviously we'll get to the teams that are in it. We'll get into it, but I just want to say real quick before, if anybody's watching on YouTube or trying to figure out what's going on in this bubble right now and how they're handling it, there's a lot of the NBA is getting a lot of crap from people in the comments section, which you're never really supposed to read in the first place on the internet, but every time something's posted about the NBA or the bubble or players testing for COVID or somebody leaving the bubble or a certain player on the Kings, I believe it was Rashawn Holmes, who ordered some food and stepped slightly outside of the barrier, and then he got put on like 12 days quarantine. Anyway, what they're saying is the people who aren't there are saying, listen, nobody needs to be dying over basketball, okay? They shouldn't be putting themselves at risk. This is not something that the NBA, we need to do. It's a luxury. People need to stop. That being said, however, if you've seen anything about what's going on inside the bubble, I will say this without a doubt. If you've seen Matisse Thybulle, check him out on YouTube. He made a YouTube channel to kind of vlog what's going on in the bubble. It's amazing behind the scenes footage of what the players are actually going through every single time. They're getting tested twice a day. Every time they leave in the morning, they're getting tested. When they come back, they're getting tested. They have to monitor themselves in the room with thermometers. And dude, it's insane. But it's not insane when they're safer there in the bubble than they would be outside. Like if we could just make the world the bubble, everything would be cool. The bubble is a safe place.
A lot of them are saying that too, is that they're safer within the bubble than they are, if they were going about their normal lives. Right.
Obviously what hurts them is seeing, like, obviously the players leaving their families for 2.5 months. Well, depending on how good your team is, it might be a shorter stay for some of these fringe teams. But obviously, if you're committing to it, you're not going to see them for almost 3 months, and you're going to be in this bubble. But everything I'm seeing on the inside, it looks like basketball camp for adults. It looks like, honestly, I mean, other than again, I'll say it again. If you have kids or a family that you want to see, obviously, or hang out with, friends, outside of that, I mean, they're living a pretty awesome life right now.
I'd say it's similar to like a college aspect for them. Like they're living their like fraternity life all over again. You see multiple dudes playing golf, like going fishing, shotgunning beers. And like, it's just crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy to see like what's going on with this culture.
Right.
It's
Speaking
nuts.
of golfing, Tatum apparently has now become an official pro golfer. He's been out there on the driving range every single day because they have a driving range. They have they have like a DJ that sets up and throws a party in there. Obviously, he's protected with a mask, but they have like a lounge area. But what's funny in the couple of videos that I've seen is the teams kind of just, at this point, especially with the playoffs about to start, the teams kind of just ride out with themselves. I haven't really seen a lot of like cross-pollination.
The Boban and Tobias.
Right. Obviously, those are long-standing relationships that are pillars of the NBA. That's a beautiful friendship that the world...
though Tobias was sitting there, you got your own friends now, man. Go back to your own friends.
Right. That's it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's cool that they're able to do this in their own atmosphere, but they're also staying in 3 different hotels, and it's pretty funny how they've kind of tiered it. So like the good teams, the higher seeded teams, are in the more expensive.
Well, I saw they're putting them in like different rooms, and I saw Damian Lillard has like a suite.
Oh yeah, he's got like the presidential suite. Yeah. I don't even know how.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What does LeBron have? If he has that, what does LeBron have?
LeBron's got to have like resort. He's got to have like the whole top floor of one of those hotels, I'm sure. Right. Like it's insane. But yeah, Damian Lillard's got that. They might have worked something out, but I'm sure he's not slouching it or slumming it like some of these rookies are. But it is a very interesting. Like this might be. I don't know when COVID's going to go away, but this could be how the season starts back up if nothing's resolved. You know what I mean? By the end of the year. The NBA season's going to come back. They're already trying to figure out what to do with the rest of the teams and how to get them acclimated into like a bubble type atmosphere.
Yeah, but you can't do that for a whole season.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
For 82 games.
Right, because teams need to play at the same time, right? Like you
like
can't
6 months.
You can't have one game in the NBA playing at the same time and expect all teams to play 82 or even 60 games. Like that's a tough ask to try to do that. But they did try to. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it's drawn out like right now, like these first 8 games before they have the play-in game. Like I feel like that's drawn out because that's going to take like 3 weeks.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be about half the teams playing every day. So like every other day, it'll be about 2 weeks. But it's going to be very interesting, and they are going to count for seeding. But one thing that we haven't touched on, it is like player awards. Apparently, this is not going to affect any player awards. They're only going to take into account what's already happened in the real regular season. So hypothetically, listen, I'm not a Zion truther for him winning Rookie of the Year. I don't think he's played enough games. Even if they counted these 8, I don't think they should take it away from Ja Morant for what he's done all season long. But if for people out there
who's going to win MVP.
That's. I mean, you have to take it off of what's happened. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to take it away from Giannis. I think at this point, right? I mean,
yeah, but I feel like at that point, like people are gonna sit there and say, LeBron deserves it just as much, and LeBron's gonna get his votes. AD, I feel like, is gonna get his votes too.
Right.
I feel like how you said, it'd be hard pressed to take it away from Giannis because nobody's stealing votes from that guy.
And it's tough. It's tough. Like obviously you take away LeBron from that team. They still have Anthony Davis. They probably still win a few games and maybe make the playoffs. Not that Anthony Davis has actually shown proficiency.
He's never won anything
right. That's what I'm saying. Even by himself, he's not really shown a knack for that. But take Giannis away from the Bucks, you got yourself a garbage team that's not going to even sniff the playoffs.
I feel like they make the 8 seed.
I don't know, man. That's tough.
Who's the 8 seed right now, though?
The Magic.
The Magic are technically the 8th seed right now, but with the team that the Brooklyn Nets have brought to this bubble, all the good players are out. Obviously, Durant's not there. His Achilles is still healing. Kyrie Irving, I don't know what he's got, but it's not normal, I'm sure. Right. And DeAndre Jordan didn't show up. I mean, there's so many other good players from that team that aren't participating. They basically just threw the towel in for this season and said, we're not even going to show up to the bubble. So I would expect them to kind of free fall. I think the Magic will overtake them in this 8 games. I don't predict a lot of shuffling around in 8 games to change most of the seeding here. But the Magic and the Nets are pretty close. Like they have the same record.
Yeah.
They've a same amount of
The
wins.
Nets even going to win a game? I doubt the Nets
I doubt
win
it.
a game.
I doubt it.
No, probably not.
So if that happens, the way this is going to play out, if for those who haven't been following, they're doing something new, and I don't know if they're kind of just taking advantage of this new opportunity that they have with this bubble, because it is a weird time. They've always been tinkering with the idea of a play-in game or a play-in series for the 8th seed to put a team or two to give them a chance that's outside to actually play in, because there was one, I believe there was a game a couple years ago where on the last game of the season, it was 2 teams just happened to be playing each other for the right to get into the playoffs, and it was like one of the highest rated games of the whole entire season, just because it went into like double overtime. It was crazy. So
I know the MLB has that 1 game wild card now, and those games are usually some of the more higher rated. Because obviously MLB plays 162, so it kind of it's drawn out to a point. But then that 1 game means everything. Like it's pretty intense.
Yeah, so what they're doing here, and I'll just get right into it because I think this is the scenario that you'll see. You'll see the Orlando Magic, who are technically the 8th seed right now. I think they'll jump ahead of the Nets because the Nets team, like I said, is garbage, what they have left. And there's only one other team that was even invited outside of the top 8 in the Eastern Conference, because there's no one else even really close. And I don't even think the Wizards are close. They're 6 games back from the 8th seed, but they'll get a chance to play in with this new play-in format. And what will happen is the Nets and the Wizards will play each other 1 game. If the Nets win, because they're the higher seed, all they need is 1 win. If they win this game, they're in. If they lose, the Wizards have to beat them a second time. The Wizards have to win twice. The Nets would have to win once. Whatever happens first, that team gets in. That's how this is going to work for play-in games on both sides.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. And I don't think the Nets would win. I just don't think the team that they have is going to be... They got freaking Jamal Crawford. He's like 46.
I have speculation on that whole situation, though. I feel like all those guys besides KD are just kind of waiting until Kevin Durant comes back.
Yeah,
they have no urge to play whatsoever. And
besides like Karras. Karras the only one.
Oh, yeah. LeVert,
right,
that man's a baller.
I'm talking about like the original team from last year. Like, obviously there's not much left, but it's just crazy. Like they're not really cohesive with Kyrie and KD, but that's just me speculating.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Kyrie's not cohesive with anybody. Never has been.
You're not lying.
Well,
it's just their personalities.
Yeah, they're both weird little snakes in the grass. But yeah, go ahead.
And I don't see how, like, they're just assuming they're gonna have good chemistry next year with everyone back together and that they're gonna be good. Like, you can't just give up on a season.
Kyrie.
KD, Kyrie, are they gonna play well together? Is the rest of the guys gonna be good enough to compete?
Right.
You can't have 2 dudes.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, but it's still, to me, that's still a great place to be in, though. They're 2 really good players, and if they are friends, I would hope something in there in Durant or even DeAndre Jordan, whoever they're friends with, would be able to keep him at least focused enough through the season to kind of be like, look, this is it, dude. Boston didn't work. People think you're crazy. Let's just try to get this together and like show some competency.
But they're not even good enough, I feel like. I feel like the Nets are not, like, it's KD, Kyrie, and then who else?
Like you said, they got LeVert, they got Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie.
All those guys are good without Kyrie. With Kyrie taking all the minutes,
I don't know.
They're not contributing as much. Are they as good as Kevin Durant and Westbrook in their primes with Harden and all? Like, their team is not as good as other teams that KD's had.
I mean, you draw a good point. Kyrie is a ball dominant player, and so is Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard. There's not enough basketball.
If they have those 2, the other scorers aren't going to be the same players. They're probably going to trade some of those guys.
Right.
I
They'll
think
probably
it's going to be
tweak
Jared
something.
Allen.
Jared Allen needs to be starting somewhere, and the fact that this season DeAndre Jordan was starting over him is a joke. I think Jared Allen's he's younger, he's better in almost every aspect at this point in their careers. I don't know, but that's another story. DeAndre Jordan signed a contract because Kevin Durant wanted him there. That was how that pretty much played out.
They paid Joe Harris a lot of money to stand on 3-point line and shoot.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I don't know.
Steve Novak Jr.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
No, hey,
no
Joe
faith
Harris is
in the
better than
Brooklyn
Steve
Nets.
Novak.
I'm just kidding, bro. I'm kidding.
All right.
And then, I mean, they got some players. It's tough, man. It's like I said. I think I think they're all offense, no defense. So like that Washington Wizards, Brooklyn Nets game could end up being like 140 to 130.
Right. It'd be fun to watch that.
It'll be exciting.
Okay, while we're on the Eastern Conference, let's just run down the teams that are in the bubble and the ones that we had just assumed that are going to make the playoffs. All right, so the number 1 seed has been and it will be the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis. I don't think the Toronto Raptors, who are in the 2nd seed and 7 games back, 6.5 games back, they're not going to make that up in 8 games. I doubt that'll happen. So you got the Bucks at the 1 seed, the Raptors at the 2 seed, Celtics at the 3, Heat, Pacers, 76ers, and then that's the back part when it gets a little weird. This Pacers and the 76ers are both have 39 wins. There's a chance that shuffles around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see who the 76ers wind up with and who I just if history shows anything, I don't know what's changed this season. They haven't really been a super great team.
Sixers are starting Ben Simmons at power forward now too.
Right.
What does that mean for Al Horford? He come off the bench? What the heck?
Al Horford's been coming off the bench though.
Yeah.
I know, but like, why? Like, I don't even.
He's 6 man.
Like, you sign this dude to how much money? And he's gonna come off the bench?
Right. So we'll get into the matchups for the 76ers in a little bit, but I want to go down the backside. We already talked about the Nets, the Magic, and the Wizards. How we assume that's going to play out. I do think the Orlando Magic are playing for something. Out of those 3, they're the only ones who are going to be trying to actually move up and compete. Other than that, the Nets and the Wizards, whoever winds up with that 8 seed, that's how that's going to play out. The Western Conference, though, has invited 13 teams as opposed to the 9 the Eastern Conference has. Obviously,
Zion rule.
Right? It's not even the Zion rule. They went way beyond. They went way beyond the Pelicans to just scoop up as many teams as they could, probably for money reasons. Obviously, the more teams you have, the more revenue.
Dame complained too, though.
Right. Yeah, I know. Obviously, they're going to get paid, though. But anyway, look, you have at the 1 and 2 seed, the Lakers and the Clippers. Those 2 teams are not going anywhere. The Denver Nuggets were the 3 seed, 2 games ahead of the Utah Jazz, who are 1 game ahead of the OKC Thunder at the 5th seed. I didn't know the Thunder were seeded higher than the Rockets. The Rockets are at the 6th seed.
Chris Paul was on a tear this year.
Yeah, he's pissed. Yeah,
he's been there for a while now.
Shea is a baller, man.
Yeah, I really like Shea. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is nice.
Shea
Gilgeous. But they're the same amount of games back, so there could be shuffling between the Thunder and the Rockets there too, and the Mavericks. They all have 40 wins.
Yeah.
So there is a way but those 3, actually that whole top 7 are making the playoffs. That's inevitable because they're the 7th seed is 8 games up on the 8th seed. So what you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams playing for that 8th spot. Here's
my question. Why didn't they invite Phoenix as well?
They did.
They did?
I thought they did. Did they not?
I thought the last team in the West that I saw.
Phoenix is in, according to my sources.
Well,
yeah.
I thought I didn't. Yeah, there they are. Shit.
Yeah, they're in. That's the thing is they got invited. They're way down the list.
I think the only reason they invited Phoenix is because they're not technically eliminated, and they wanted San Antonio there.
Yeah, Phoenix was hot too. They were on a tear as well.
Yeah, no, their weather is really hot. If you check out anytime, check the weather apps.
Gross.
Hey, I'm just saying, man, it's like in the hundreds over there. So they're probably loving it over here. But anyway, what I'm saying is I don't see a scenario where Phoenix makes up, well, they only have to make up 3 games to get to the 9th seed. Everybody outside of the playoffs is only playing to get, not only, obviously you want to get the 8th seed, but
yeah, because you get that little advantage.
Right, but it's impossible. It's pretty much impossible for Phoenix to slide into the 8th spot in this scenario. But they need to make up 3 games to get to the 9 so they can have a play-in opportunity with what I'm assuming will be the Grizzlies for the 8th seed. The NBA invited.
Wait.
What's up?
I got a question.
Yeah.
So once the playoffs start, it's like the normal playoffs?
Right. It will be like the normal playoffs aside from these play-in games. So like I said.
It's still best out of 7 in the first round?
Yeah. Yeah. They're playing, yeah, they're playing normal games.
Long.
But it won't be, because without the travel, they don't have to do 3 days separating anymore. It can be 2, 2, 2, 2, and they can just churn it out. Because there's no travel. They're not traveling across the country or across the, wherever they wind up. But with Memphis, I think Memphis will stick around in the 8th seed. The play-in teams outside of the playoffs right now are Portland, the Trailblazers, who are now fully healthy with Reggie's favorite player, Carmelo Anthony, on their team.
Melo.
He dropped weight.
Bubble Melo.
Did you see? Yeah, Bubble Melo.
Bubble Melo.
That's going to be a thing. Hashtag Bubble Melo. I do think the Trailblazers are really good. I think they might be better than the Pelicans as constructed right now.
I don't know. Lonzo Ball and Zion.
That's what you led with? You led with Lonzo?
Mm-hmm.
That's disrespectful.
Lonzo, Drew, B.I., Zion.
I think they're good. Obviously, the Pelicans.
JJ Redick.
The NBA would love to have the Pelicans do a play-in game or a play-in set of games with the Grizzlies. That would be the NBA's wet dream. Yeah, Portland, I think. Yeah,
that's huge if the Pelicans play the Grizzlies
right
for that play-in. Like
that would be.
I can only imagine like the Twitter media that would be going crazy for that.
You wouldn't see ratings like that until probably the Western Conference Finals, or or even just the finals.
I have a question. Are the players within the bubble allowed to watch like these games, or are they like us?
That's the thing. That's one of the weirdest things that we're going to see whenever they're doing this. I don't know if they're going to have a camera set up on the players who decide to show up, but players not playing will be able to but like show up and watch games, probably from behind a glass in a little bubble somewhere. But yeah, they'll be in this, you know what I mean? Like you can choose. That's an activity you can do.
This is like an AAU tournament.
It's insane.
Is exactly what you're saying.
It's going to be
like an AAU tournament.
It's going to be hilarious. I'm so ready for this. But to see the reactions, you're going to see the people in the crowd
out there
will be everybody just getting hyped.
See LeBron sitting there on the sideline like he is at his kid's AAU.
Yeah.
Hopping onto the court.
Waving towels for Chris Paul.
Court too.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron, it's not about you, dude. Get off the court.
Right.
Go play your own game.
Jeez, Pete's, man. Come on, man. He just wants to wave a towel for his banana boat crew. All right? They're out here.
Speaking of LeBron, once the Lakers play the Celtics in the finals, how soon does LeBron dunk on Jason Tatum?
All right. You're getting a little ahead of yourself, but I do kind of like where you're going with this, though.
10 minutes in the game, probably?
It'll be about probably 2. All right. So we've gone down we didn't even say that all the teams that are outside of the playoffs that have a chance. Yeah. So we did Portland. The Pelicans are next. Then the Sacramento Kings are there. The Spurs are there because, there's a chance. And then, like you said, Phoenix is there too. I think the main teams that are going to be in the running for the last 3, obviously the Grizzlies, obviously Portland Trailblazers, and I think obviously the Pelicans. That's the top 3 that will probably be there after the 8 seeding games, and then we'll figure out who's going to be in the play-in, and then that will be a fun. Either way, all 3 of those teams are going to be a great 8 seed, and basically you're playing for the opportunity to play the Lakers. That's what's going to play out. Whoever wins is going to play the Lakers.
It's going to be awkward without the Spurs, though.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about it at this point. They are what they are at this. They're not really that. They're not all that anymore. Timmy D ain't around to save them here.
Their dynasty's over.
Right.
I think it's gonna be weird though. Like, what happens if Zion doesn't come back after this whole family emergency?
I fully expect him to be back.
What's up with that? What's up with that? I don't know.
No, I mean it's personal business, but they're allowed to leave. That was part of their agreement of being in the bubble. Is if something happens, whether it's family or even, I think one of the things on the list was a wedding. A wedding was enough and I was like, maybe you draw the line at wedding, but again, right now it would be the players' off season. So if somebody that close to them had planned a wedding and you really, really needed to go, then I guess that would be it. But I don't know what's going on with Zion.
What's the protocol for coming back?
You have to quarantine. You test.
Yeah, quarantine for 14 days.
Right. I don't. Is it actually 14 days though? That's the thing. Is because
I thought it was 8.
No, I think they test. You quarantine for, I think, however long it takes. I think the timing was 12 hours. If I watched the video, you have to stay in your room for up to 12 hours. Then they give you the test results back. And if you're positive, then they take you off and you quarantine on your own. So
I have another question. So these playing games, I don't know if you guys watched the basketball tournament. They had it, it's some like alumni teams, some like overseas teams. They played the tournament in Chicago. And the way that tournament works is it's one and done. Like you lose, you go home. So they made it to where that the players packed their stuff, brought all their stuff to the lobby. You lost, you went home.
Damn.
So like, is that how it's going to be for the NBA too?
Definitely not. That's definitely not how it's going to be.
Like that.
No, they're not going to be. They're going to do them like that.
It's pretty dope though, like as a concept.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's what I'm saying. If you're on a bad team, probably don't settle in too much. Like the Suns players, you may not even have to unpack. But you got to play your games, obviously, and I'm just really interested to see how the play-ins are affected because, I mean, out of these three teams, who do you think would give the Lakers the most fits? The Grizzlies, the Trailblazers, or the Pelicans? Actually, who would be the best? Who do you have the best chance to take down the Lakers?
Oh, are we going around? I would say the Pelicans. Maybe to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably the Pelicans.
Just because, and this is my theory, like they don't really have a legit guard right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Avery Bradley's out. Rondo broke his hand for the 74th time. He's got the most brittle hands in the league.
Yeah, but they got Caruso, so
Caruso is crazy good, according to the internet.
You know what they're saying right now? They're saying that Chalmers might get a phone call.
Yo, stop.
Even
no. Chalmers is saying he's gonna get a phone call. Chalmers was the one that was like, "Hey, I'm seeing a lot of your players go down. Somebody give me a call. I'm ready." Nobody's calling him. Nobody's calling Chalmers. His phone ain't ringing.
They're gonna have LeBron run point and then Danny Green at the 2. They're fine.
I don't know, bro. I'm just saying though, like Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, JJ Redick, Ingram, like it's just interesting lineups.
Right. I think on paper, the world wants to see the Pelicans and Zion versus LeBron in the first round. That would be. They want the Grizzlies and the Pelicans play-in game, so they get that matchup, and then they want the Pelicans to win to then take on Zion for a 7-game series. I think the Trailblazers have the best chance of actually winning against the Lakers. Because like you said, Lillard and McCollum alone who's going to stop them?
Lillard dropped 55 against them earlier this season. And then the Trailblazers were talking about running the Twin Towers lineup with Nurkic and Whiteside.
Right.
Too.
They have big Nurkic. Nurkic is good, dude. Nurkic is solid, and with him in, they're really good.
Every time the Blazers are in the playoffs, McCollum and Lillard, like one has a good game. They never go off together in the playoffs.
But how do they keep? They made it to the Western Conference Finals. Like, was it last year or the year before? They're good,
and they got smoked.
But it doesn't matter. They made it there.
The Lakers aren't the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers are the best team in the West.
But they're not the Warriors that the Trailblazers ran into, though. They're not the Warriors.
Warriors.
Okay, all right, you're right. No, I
don't
listen.
Who lost the Warriors?
Who's that?
Who beat the Warriors? Toronto.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Chips with the dip.
Okay.
Chips with the dip.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Okay.
We out here.
So contenders wise, I mean, let's go to the Eastern Conference just for right now, because I don't think there's a whole bunch of like championship contenders in the Eastern Conference Finals or in general. Obviously the Bucks, the Raptors are the second seed. They've won throughout the season, even though they've lost Kawhi. I think they're still good. Pascal Siakam keeps getting better. I do really like them. The 3 seed is the Boston Celtics. If you know anything about me, I also really, really happen to like them. Very fond of that team. They're all really good people.
Get out of here.
I love them like my son. Anyway, I do think they are contenders. I think they have proven that they can beat the Bucks. I think they've done it before. They've done it in a season. A 7-game series is going to be tough to stop Giannis. It's going to be tough for any of these people to stop, or teams to stop Giannis. But the Raptors, I think, could do. I think Miami's got a good shot at taking, not necessarily making it to the finals, but if they run into the Bucks first, they might have a shot. The Bam Adebayo
is the stopper of Giannis.
Right. If you look at any game that they've played against the Bucks, for some stupid reason, it's not stupid reason, Bam causes fits for Giannis just because he's fast enough and big enough to get in his way.
Yeah, They have similar strength. It's kind of crazy. And now that Bam's getting the ball at like the 3-point line and he's actually able to create on his own, it's actually nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that they're contenders though, because I think other teams could beat them and exploit them. Like I think the Boston Celtics would beat the Miami Heat just because they have the guard play and the wing play. Yeah, it's going to be different.
I think it's the top 3 in the East, and that's really all we have to worry about.
Vince would say something different about the 76ers, though. He's high on those Sixers for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, they're the like quote unquote dark horse.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know. Being a Magic fan, it'll be interesting if Jonathan Isaac comes back. Like how many games they can take, like Milwaukee.
Yeah,
realistically, too. Like I know hopefully they're the 7th seed. They play Toronto again.
I think they move up. I think they move up to the 7th and probably play Toronto.
Hope. I mean, Jonathan Isaac potentially is a game changer.
Oh yeah.
Their defense was so much better with him on the court, and then everyone saw the difference with him off.
Yeah.
Realistically, I don't see him playing much more than like 20 minutes a game at the beginning. And that's probably even stretching it coming off, that horrific injury he had.
Yeah.
But I mean, those 20 minutes, could change the game.
I agree. Yeah, no, I'm just curious to see how he, in this scenario, after that much time off, he's still got to find a groove. I don't know that the NBA playoffs is the.
Yeah, I mean, they say he's been practicing, and we'll see what he looks like in those first 8 games if he even plays. Like he's been practicing, but he hasn't committed to playing.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. Going back to the Magic, I would definitely say they've kind of changed their image recently. You know what I mean? In the last few years, and picking up Fultz, it's made them into a more like fast-paced transition offense team opposed to like a half-court offense team.
They have so much
and they
length.
actually play defense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
the length is unreal.
Who's their coach?
Internet search Magoo.
The guy from Charlotte.
Not Scott Skiles. No, I don't know. But are they?
Yeah, no one knows.
But is the question is they're not
Clifford.
Clifford. He's not a bad coach actually. But
Damn.
I don't think they're not a contender. I don't foresee the Magic winning. They're making it to the finals. I don't.
Like I said, it's
Sixers,
just
the Sixers are a contender.
The Sixers.
76ers, bro. Oh my gosh, dude.
They get in their own way. Yeah, they get in their own way, dude. It's
they're as Reggie would say, they're the most overhyped team in the league.
They're right up there.
But the Sixers, their best players coming off the bench. Not the best player, but the
best player.
No, they only signed
overpaid player.
They only signed Horford so he wouldn't be on another team to stop Embiid. That's the only reason.
Biggest waste of $100 million.
You're damn right. Yeah.
Hey, trust the process.
Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Who's their guards?
Josh Richardson.
That's it.
They have.
No, they got
Josh too.
Yeah. Well, they got T.J. McConnell still, right? McConney.
No, McConnell's on the Pacers.
Is he?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, then they ain't got nothing. Then they're washed. It's over for them. Speaking about the Pacers, they're going to be fun to watch, especially if Oladipo plays. I don't think they're a contender either. So, I think the 76ers stumble. Obviously, we'll get our predictions at the end of this podcast once we're done going over the Western Conference. But I just think the main contenders in the East are probably the top 3, and then there is an outside chance if I had to pick a dark horse, I think Miami could do something.
Mm-hmm.
So
be interesting. I mean, they get it could be like the NCAA tournament. Any team gets hot. Like
yeah, it's hard to do it in a 7-game format though. Like
the first round can have some upsets just because teams are rusty.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree with that.
That's why they play the 8 games beforehand to get that rust off.
That's why they invited the Suns to get waxed by Zion like a couple times before the season starts.
Some of those 8-game schedules are very not balanced.
Oh yeah. The Pelicans did have an easier schedule, but they gave him like the fluffiest of what's left. They basically gave everybody below him on the schedule. Like they're playing the Kings, they're playing all the butt cheeks teams that didn't have winning records. Okay, Western Conference. We know that the Lakers and the Clippers are the cream of the crop when it comes to the Western Conference right now. I would be shocked if there wasn't a Los Angeles team in the finals. But teams that could do it, maybe. Anybody have any suggestions? If the Houston experiment from the 6th seed, I don't know how that would play out. They're PJ Tucker at the center, no big man, just running and gunning. You think that's going to play out in the 7-game series?
I don't know, man. But the thing is, you get hot with the 3.
Right.
Yeah. The 3-point, as we say all the time playing video games, 3-point change 2K. We hate 2K because of the 3-pointer.
Right.
And
that because
series,
of Ronnie and because of Ronnie 2K. So
in a 7-game series, you shoot 50% from 3, you're gonna win.
Yeah, it's possible. And if they avoid playing the Lakers or the Clippers in the first round, which is entirely possible if they sit in the 6th seed,
that's what they have to do.
They could do something.
I don't think they're deep enough.
Probably not.
They gave up too much.
I agree. They probably aren't, but I'm going to be curious to see how it plays out.
They signed Luke Richard and Baumute to, come off the bench, throw another, long
medium
guy
body.
Like LeBron.
Yeah.
They always get hurt in the playoffs, though.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. They got old Russell Westbrook now. You never know what could happen.
He's got COVID though.
Yeah, he can fight back. He can. If Russell Westbrook can average a triple double in the season.
COVID in 2 days.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Russell
Westbrook.
Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't anticipate them being a contender. Even though they are in the 5th spot.
Fun to watch.
Utah Jazz. Rudy Gobert COVID machine.
Rudy Gobert should be suspended from this bubble. He should not be allowed in the bubble.
The Utah Jazz are ground zero for COVID, I think, in the NBA. But they are the number 4 seed in the Western Conference. I think if Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert don't actually hate each other on the basketball court, it's an interesting squad.
They do, though.
No, they hate each other off the court, but they already came out and publicly said. Donovan Mitchell said, "Look, what happened between us happened between us, but when we're here on the court, it's business." Everybody, it's the obligatory player. We got in a squabble. We don't like each other, but
now
we are paid millions of dollars. Yeah, we're paid millions of dollars to hate each other.
Pass him.
You don't
wide open. You won't pass him the ball.
You don't jeopardize the game.
You don't know how petty these players are.
Right,
they could be real petty.
You're right. They could be. Do you have an inside source that says Donovan Mitchell's the pettiest guy in the NBA?
I don't, but I also do not have an inside source.
All right. I guess that means something. Okay, and
that doesn't mean nothing.
The only other team, and I don't know why I said only. I think they're pretty good. The Denver Nuggets, 3rd seed. Denver Nuggets are pretty nice.
I like them.
I think
Jokic, man.
Yeah, Jokic is solid, but
I think they're a season away from truly being a contender. But it will be interesting seeing what they do when they get there.
Right, with not Gobert, but Jokic, and obviously you have Jamal Murray who can go long. And
I guess he's lost 30 pounds, Jokic.
Jamal Murray can go long. No, get it? It's a penis joke. To Jamal Murray, yeah. All right. No, but to be real though, I do think they have a lot of good young players, and I think they're players for some reason. When I look at their roster,
not even there though.
Yeah, Michael Porter's not there.
Oh, he hasn't been there his whole career. What do you mean? What does that matter?
He looked good this year.
Yeah, okay, when he played, but he's been like a flicker, like a light that's been flickering. He hasn't been a consistent piece for the team, and they've still been winning. So, I think if
the real question is,
stays healthy, they're really good. No, you're right. That was my sentence.
How soon does Jamal Murray fly in that blonde chick though?
Listen, whatever the Nuggets will do it if it gets him off. You know what I mean? Not off, I'm talking about on the basketball court. You know what I mean? He pops off from 3.
Chunk after dark.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Pop off.
All right. We're moving on. Let's get into predictions. I think the playoffs are pretty much, again, other than the play-in games, and I don't know, a lot of us are going to be picking 8 seeds to win the championship, but I would like to get on paper just predictions of, because I do foresee this playing out. A lot of people are like, don't make a prediction. Don't assume that this season's still going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be an outbreak. If an outbreak happens, it's an inside job. Somebody did something to spray COVID in people's mouths, because what they're doing on a daily basis is
get Regi started.
Yeah, it could happen. Now, listen, I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but I think they're safer in the bubble. I think this season obviously will finish, And I guess we can start with you, Reggie. How do you think, obviously, Western Conference, Eastern Conference in the finals, and who takes the cake?
I think it's Lakers for sure.
Okay. Are you saying there's no one? Wait, real quick. You don't think anybody's going to stop the Lakers in the West? No one can?
No.
Okay.
Not even close. I think the duo of LeBron and AD, if they're playing like they were playing before, that's the best duo in the West. Hands down.
Okay, I agree.
That's all you need.
I agree they're the best duo. Do you agree? Okay, I agree. So, okay, you have the Lakers in the West. What's going on in the East?
Lakers guaranteed. East, it's a toss-up between the Bucks, Raptors.
Wow, yeah, you're telling all the contenders in the East.
No, the Bucks, Raptors, and the Celtics. Yeah, it could go either way. I probably am gonna lean away from the Bucks. I think it's gonna be some kind of upsets going on. So I'm gonna think maybe I'm gonna go Raptors. Screw it.
You're gonna go Raptors back to back. Raptors make the finals without Kawhi. You're saying Lakers, Raptors. Who wins though?
I think the Raptors are the most rust-proof team. I think they're big on defense, which is there's no rust involved there, and they just had the best chemistry, things that you can't really rust with. So I think the Raptors and Lakers will be in the final.
All right, and who wins? Who wins?
Lakers.
Say it. Why you? This is a podcast. No one can see your face. This man's like, really? You looking? All right.
What is that, 4th ring?
So you
this
say
is the whole reason why they even start in the bubble is for LeBron to win a ring. They give him a chance.
Yeah, well, obviously.
And he's 35 years old.
Okay, but the whole
thing is for LeBron.
I mean, listen, I hear what you're saying there, but at the end of the day, these teams were constructed with every season in mind, and if they gave up on a season and there wasn't like the whole cap situation that would happen afterwards would be really weird if they just canceled it.
I honestly think if the Lakers were like the 6th or 7th seed and weren't that good this year, they wouldn't even try this. I think they just.
I disagree.
But the fact that LeBron is the #1 seed and he's pushing it, I think they're doing everything they can to get this going.
I hear what you're saying.
I feel like that would just entice them to have something like this if the Lakers were anywhere in the question. Like if the Lakers were the 9 seed, they definitely would be doing this.
They'd be like, "Oh yeah, let's do that play-in game so the 9th seed has an advantage." Like,
no, if the Lakers were the 9th seed, that means maybe they had an injury or they would suck. Like
last season, what you're saying?
Like top 3, yeah. But I'm saying if they were like crappy and AD was hurt or like a major player was hurt, I don't think they'd be doing that.
Okay,
you literally just said if they're the 9 seed, someone was hurt, but you're saying if they're the 3 seed, someone else was hurt.
No, I'm saying if they're the 3 seed, yeah, they would play it. Like if they're a contender,
right?
A real contender, they're doing this.
Which they are, and it is happening. So you're saying Lakers over Raptors in the finals. Okay.
Right.
The bubble finals. Lynch, what do you got, man? What are you working with?
I'm gonna start with the East.
Okay.
I think Milwaukee is the best team there. I think the Celtics are the 2nd best team there. I do think a 7-game series would happen if those two played. However, I still think Milwaukee would come out on top just because Giannis is the best player on the court every time he steps on the court.
He's a freak.
LeBron.
He's a freak.
Besides LeBron. And then I think out of the West, I think the Clippers are going to come out.
Oh, all right.
I think Boardman's going to get paid again.
Boardman gets paid.
Yeah. I think the Clippers are just too deep, and I think that's honestly the difference. Like, if the Lakers are a true contender, they don't need to go sign J.R. Smith.
And does anybody really think
about J.R. Smith?
Huh?
I forgot about J.R. Smith. Now I'm guaranteeing Lakers going to win.
Dude, that team's full of clowns though. They got JaVale, they got JR, they got Dion Waiters. They should have kept Lance Stevenson.
The Lakers have Dion Waiters?
Is it Waiters there still?
Yeah, Waiters is there.
Dude, they got that's the all team clown right there. They got Rondo, he's a head case.
Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith. LeBron's never touching the ball.
That's whack. That lineup is whack. But no, listen. All right, so Lynch, you have Clippers, you have Bucks. Who's winning it?
Like I said, with the depth that the Clippers give, like I don't see it. Like I know you say, the Bucks have Giannis, but what do they have after? Like
right.
I don't know if Eric Bledsoe's going to be there. If Eric Bledsoe's not there, like my Bucks predictions probably invalidated.
All right, put some respect on Chris Middleton though. That man's an all-star.
I understand that, but you still gotta have someone to guard Kemba, in a 7-game series.
Yeah, well,
so
I mean,
word on the streets, Kemba's got a bad knee.
Yo, chill, bro.
Like real bad.
Oh, I don't know about real bad.
Amari Stoudemire, Greg Oden knee.
All right, stop it.
You mean
All right,
Brandon Roy?
Lynch, make your prediction. So you're saying what?
I'm going Clippers.
Clippers over Bucks.
Yeah, and I can only imagine the outrage that would happen in LA if Kawhi brought a championship before LeBron did.
I mean, I hear you. Look, do they really outrage over anything? Obviously, I think Clippers winning the championship would be outrage worthy, though, because I think 90% of that city is Lakers fans. But yeah, it would be very interesting.
They might say that they're Clippers fans.
Right. Everybody would just turn their hat around, and it would wind up being like the Clippers logo on the other side. No.
Or they're the people at the football
totally
games.
Disagree with that.
The people that at the football games that have 2 jerseys on, and then they take the one off when their team's losing.
I knew it the whole time. So they can walk out and not get made fun of. All right, Vince, it's your turn. I know you've been stewing. You've been listening to this garbage. What do you want to say, man? What do you want to say?
I'll start with the East.
Okay.
It's kind of tough for me because I think the Celtics are the better team than Milwaukee, just because of depth, coach. But it's tough for me to pick them because I feel like the 76ers are going to be a dark horse and they might make it to the finals.
Okay. All right. You're saying a lot of mights. You're saying a lot of the could, should, would. What's the prediction?
I think the Celtics at the beginning of the season.
Uh-oh.
But what Regi said with the injuries and stuff. I'm gonna pick the 76ers.
See, pick the 76ers.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bold move.
Bold.
That is, he knows the fraud that is Jason Tatum.
No, I just think that they're hungry, after last year and freaking Kawhi hit that mid-range jumper falling out of bounds.
Oh man.
Let's
not forget about the year before when they tried to beat the Celtics and they got waxed with the no Kyrie team.
No, I understand that.
No, just saying, their team as constructed. It's your prediction, obviously, but I'm just curious. They on paper have a really good lineup. It's not a lot of shooting, but it's size and it's defense.
Yeah.
I would if they put it together, then they could do it. I'm not taking them out. They're a contender for sure. I have yet to see them actually do it. So they would be putting it together now, which is fine.
Yep.
Possible. All right, that's your East prediction. I don't even think we even have to guess.
Yeah,
but go ahead. Say the West, bro. Say the West.
No, we're gonna go with the only team in LA that matters.
Damn.
No, we're gonna go with the Lakers. Year 17, LeBron is just unreal. He's been a freak all year. So is AD, and I think they'll end up winning the finals. I think it'll go 6 or 7 games with the Clippers.
Oh, with the Clippers. I was like, you think the 76ers are going to take the Lakers 7? I was about to snap.
I think the Clippers series, if they end up playing the Clippers,
it's going to be an insane series. I
want
an
amazing series.
I want that so bad. I want them both to just run it up.
We're all sitting there. We're the man with the popcorn, the GIF.
Yeah,
just sitting there eating popcorn.
I got a question. I got a question. What if mid playoffs, if someone major gets COVID, like LeBron, let's say LeBron gets COVID, game 2 of the Western Conference Finals.
What happens? He quarantines.
Mask it up, and let's
go.
So
then that just messes up the whole.
Hey, it's part of the game, man. What if he rolls his ankle? It's the same thing. Don't step in. Don't take a wrong step and get COVID.
Don't step in COVID, bitch.
Yeah, walk around the COVID puddle.
That's the rest of the playoffs. 2 weeks is the rest of the game.
Right.
That's
right.
Very true.
So you just basically got to hope that it's not during and it's before, because there is going to be a little time gap between the end of the Eastern and Western Conference and then we'll see.
I think that's
if it's during,
that's why they're doing that.
Yeah. So what if hypothetically Draymond Green gets suspended for Game 5? I'm just saying.
What do you mean?
I'm bringing up old stuff, right? Cavs come back from down 3-1.
It's what if shit, bro?
It's like saying, what if Draymond gets suspended for 2 weeks?
All right.
It's it's gonna change everything.
Here's the deal. All right, you guys made your picks. I'm gonna come in with mine. I don't think a lot of people are gonna be shocked here. I've said it since the season started. I've said it since the teams were assembled The teams were assembled, not the duos, the teams. I will agree, LeBron and AD, they're the best duo in the league. I think the best team, the second best duo, I think is pretty close. I think it's Kawhi and Paul George at their best. But I'll take the second best duo with the better team all day in a 7-game series. So if
let me ask this though.
What's up?
Do you think that this season though, they're the best, like the second best duo? Because some people would argue Dame and CJ.
No.
Because Paul George has been suspect.
I say Kawhi is top 3 in the league, player-wise. Kawhi alone, top 3.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying duos.
You're talking about Paul George?
I'm saying Paul George and Kawhi as a duo right now.
If Paul George is healthy, yeah. Yeah, Paul George, when playing, they were pretty good, and he showed signs of old Paul George, but he was working his way into the groove. I would assume.
And I mean, he's had 3 months off.
Right. I think he's
rehab again.
Yeah. I don't know. I stand by what I said. I think the Clippers are coming out of the West. I think the Lakers could just as easily do the same. But if you're making me pick, which I'm making me pick, I'm picking the Clippers. I just think, again, like I said, the overall top to bottom team, I think they have, like, when LeBron's out of the game, I'd just be curious to see what happens with the ragtag group of fellas they got playing, you know?
AD.
You gotta have AD.
So you're gonna feather
J.R. Smith.
You're gonna feather LeBron and AD, your 2 best players, on and off at the same time. How's that gonna work? When are they gonna play together?
No,
I mean, LeBron gonna play 40 minutes.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
LeBron doesn't rest. We all know that.
It's gonna be tough, man. I don't know.
That's why they got J.R. Smith.
All right. Stop bringing up J.R. Smith, man.
J.R. Smith was beating people up for stuff a month ago.
For breaking his,
if someone's breaking into my car,
I mean, I'd be pretty pissed too.
Who's
yeah,
not gonna beat someone?
And then he gets signed next week.
Right.
Like
J.R. Smith is a big second and third quarter guy.
Okay.
He's gonna be
not a fourth quarter.
He's definitely not a last minute guy. I can tell you that. Oh, all right.
I don't think the Clippers have enough answers for their centers.
What are you talking about, bro? They got Zubac, which the Lakers gave away for nothing. They got Montrezl Harrell. I think he's a viable option. Huh?
They got Dwight.
They got Dwight and JaVale. Well,
Dwight Howard, I will admit, at this stage of his career, is still pretty solid. I don't want to hear anything about JaVale McGee. I don't. I'm sorry.
He's gonna catch oops, and that's about it. Like,
yeah, and he's gonna make some oops. All right, he's gonna catch oops and make oops. All right.
Zubac's a complete 5.
Yeah.
And
Zubac's better than JaVale.
Yes.
I would rather have Zubac 10 out of 10. Yeah. That's an absolute.
And then Harrell's good. He's an undersized 5 that I would take on any basketball team. Like,
right. The Lakers have a lot of bigs who can rebound and dunk, but I just don't think that they have the shooting to justify that many bigs. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna get in the way. Like, who's gonna be? I don't know. It's gonna be weird.
I mean, I completely forgot about Danny Green, to be honest with you. But Danny Green,
Danny Green was like
Waiters.
Danny Green was a missed Ray Allen 3 from being a Finals MVP in 2013. I just want everyone to know that.
That's fine.
Don't sleep on Danny Green.
That's fine.
I'm not. On him.
Yeah. What year was that?
I think 2013.
What year is it now?
Yeah, 7 more years for him to be wiser.
Oh, right. Okay. No, you're right.
UNC legend, bro.
I hear you.
Don't lose their shot.
I think Danny Green's good. I'm just saying that's hard to justify. Okay.
He's lost a step, though.
Right.
He's lost a step.
Clippers. I'm picking the Clippers.
Step on his shot.
I'm picking the Clippers. Okay, so we're 50-50. We got Lakers, Clippers, Lakers, Clippers. That's how we've decided to pick out of the 4 of us. Out of the East, I think the Milwaukee Bucks are fantastic. They're the #1 team in the East for the season. All right. I think they have Giannis, which is fantastic. I don't think
you're gonna do
I don't think they make it to the finals. I don't think they make it to the finals. I think listen, I'm not saying Giannis, look, he's gonna be the MVP. I do think there is a scenario in a 7-game series where you can coach through him.
Yeah.
Like you can pick up a defensive scheme if you have the right personnel to coach around the Bucks and still beat them. And I think there's a couple teams in the East that could do that.
Yeah, the Sixers did it in a couple games where they sagged to the free throw line and just said Giannis shoot threes.
Right.
And Giannis shot threes and was building houses.
Right, but he can look at Giannis's shot has gotten a little better, but I don't think the Giannis is going to make it. I think the Bucks are out of the way. Okay. So now that the Bucks are out of the way, and this is going to sound, and I did this a couple years ago, it's going to sound like a homer pick.
Homer pick.
I don't think I don't think we can overlook what Jason Tatum has become. This season. What do you mean? What do you mean? What has he become?
A beard, he's good now.
No. Look at his numbers. Look at his numbers pre All-Star break, post All-Star break. The All-Star game changed him. It was something that got clicked in his head. He's like, I'm here. I deserve it now. I am one of these people.
Playoffs? Is he a playoff guy?
Yes. Him and Jaylen Brown carried the team to almost the finals 2 years ago, and they were 2 years younger. They're still only 22. Like, what? I don't know what you want.
Both bums. Tatum's a bum. He hasn't proved nothing.
Oh, my God.
He's a big regular season stat guy, stat patter.
I can't believe what you're saying. But I will be happy.
Him and his crappy beard going one-on-one versus Giannis.
I will be happy to watch you eat this crow when this season plays out. But listen, like you said, Kemba's got a bum knee. Fine. He doesn't have to be the best player. That's the best part about this is he's not a Hornet anymore. He's not on a trash team. Jesus. He can be, sorry, Charlotte, you're garbage. I'm just saying, he doesn't have to be the best player anymore. He can be at any given time. He can be.
Have right now?
What?
Gordon Hayward or Jason Tatum?
Tatum, all day.
That's
but
easy.
What a beautiful.
But they have both.
What a beautiful luxury it is to have Gordon Hayward as your fourth best player.
But what are you gonna do? Maybe Gordon Hayward gets hurt again. He seems pretty injury prone.
Okay, you're throwing out scenarios. I'm telling you what's happening right now. What I'm just telling you what happened.
He hasn't even mentioned his favorite player.
Right.
So.
Marcus Smart is the defensive player of the year material. He will finish top 3 in defensive player of the year votes. Mark my words. And a guard hasn't won the defensive player of the year in like a decade. It's
side note.
Right.
Side note, I got flicked off by Marcus Smart in college.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. He is a G for that.
Did he choke somebody else?
Hey, chill, man. He's passion.
Before that.
It's passion.
He hit a half-court buzzer beater at halftime, turned around, flicked off the USF crowd.
Let's go. That's all you need to know about the Celtics and their prospects of making the finals.
Good. I'm saying people are acting like Jason Tatum is going to win MVP this year. People need
He's not going to win MVP this year, but he will after this playoffs and after I predict that they make the finals. You'll be looking at Jason Tatum as a potential top 5 player.
I want to see it. I'm saying people are.
I'm saying you haven't been watching post All-Star break before this season stopped.
Can he do it yet?
He was dooking on everybody.
Can he do it in the Western Conference? Can he do it on the big stage?
All right.
We're beating around the bush. You got Celtics Clippers in the finals.
I have Celtics Clippers in the finals.
Are you that big of a homer?
Here we go. Brace yourselves, kids. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you a little something. Let me tell you a little something about my basketball acumen, okay? I watch a lot of basketball. That's about it.
Not doing it.
That's it, okay? And what I've seen this season and what I've seen prior seasons to this, I'm going to say it. You're going to hate it. I'm taking the Clippers over the Celtics in the finals. I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot.
Pick his own team.
Jesus, I'm not going to do that. I'm not an idiot. I think Kawhi Leonard is, especially after this, top 3 player in the league. He very well may be the best player in the league. As just an overall player, it's hard to say it because he doesn't say it. He doesn't speak. He doesn't do anything. He just goes out and puts in the work. You are picking the Raptors because of what happened last year where Kawhi just dragged him. And obviously, other players have taken steps. Nothing's really changed other than the fact that he left. But the dude can literally backpack an entire team in one season. I don't know. He's insane. He's really good. So I will take the Clippers over the Celtics, and I will just be happy that the Celtics made it out of the Eastern Conference Finals. So,
to be honest, like Vince said,
and how many games though?
We didn't do games. What do you mean? I'll take.
Yeah, but
I'll take 6 or 7. It'll go 6 or 7. Bold. 6 or 7 games.
Bold.
I don't know. I can't decide. 4 is just a straight sweep.
Clippers in 4.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you picked.
Gets sweet.
I'm glad you picked the amount of games on my prediction. So thank you.
I think that series would depend though, like if Paul George shows up.
I will tell you the best game of the NBA season, and it's unanimous across Twitter that has already happened. The number one game all season long was Celtics Clippers. Every time they played twice. It was an instant classic game. It went overtime. Dude, it was insane. The games were wild. And I would love to see a 7-game series of that.
Does Marcus Smart guard Kawhi?
He can. He can in a pinch. Dude,
I wouldn't say can.
There's nobody Marcus Smart can't guard. He might get cooked a few times because he's short, but he will try. He will give you.
Oh my God.
He'll give you what you need.
Kawhi was cooking Klay Thompson. Come on.
Bro, what's that supposed to mean?
Kawhi on one leg was cooking Klay Thompson.
That's fine.
I think Klay Thompson's a better defender than Marcus Smart.
I think they're about the same if we're going to give it. I'd say about the same. Kawhi maybe Marcus Smart better.
Kawhi was on one leg. Kawhi was on one leg last year and cooked Klay Thompson. Come on. And Draymond. Whoever tried to guard him.
Look, all I'm saying is, look, I said the Clippers would win, obviously, but I'm taking the Celtics to come out of the East. And yes, it's a homer. But I will tell you, 2 years ago, without Kyrie Irving, I predicted the Celtics would go to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron and lose. I predicted that. And no, everybody thought I was a homer because Kyrie Irving wasn't there. I see it, and I understand that they have the personnel to do it. They can, and I think they will.
I honestly think the front court is like the deciding factor.
Right. But that's the thing is everyone's sleeping on. Obviously, I'm a fan, and I've seen a lot more than people, but Daniel Tice is
solid.
He's great. Defensively, he's the top 3 big man in the league defensive rating.
Imagine if they had Aaron Baines raining threes.
Losing Aaron Baines killed me, man. I freaking love that guy.
Dude, Aaron can shoot now. What if Phoenix like backpacks off Booker and Aaron Baines?
Stop. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But I would love to have Aaron Baines back. I will tell you one other thing real quick about the Celtics because now that I'm on this soapbox, I can't stop.
Right.
You will remember Robert Williams' name by the time this playoff ends as well. Robert Williams, big man for the Celtics, because all he does is just block shots and dunk. You'll see a few highlights of his and be like, who the hell is this guy? Because he'd been hurt all year. He's healthy now, like a lot of other teams' players. But anyway, this has been fun. I think our predictions are now officially set in stone. Reggie is apparently salty about everybody else's picks for some reason. You good?
No, just the Celtics.
No, you good? You just did Celtics?
I'm not good.
Why don't you tell me more about how Tatum's garbage?
Lakers in 4 versus anybody.
Okay.
Lakers in 4.
So you're saying Lakers in 4 over the Raptors? Your pick was the Raptors. You're gonna say the Lakers gonna sweep?
Reg, I need you to go more in depth about this Raptors pick. As Vince said, they were one shot away from being eliminated last year by the Sixers.
Okay.
So like are the Raptors better than last year?
I'd say they're marginally worse.
Okay.
Marginally.
All right. About barely. One jump shot worse?
Like a 4 or 5 jump shots worse.
All right.
I think they obviously lost Kawhi, but then everyone else on that team has went up.
Let's not forget about Fred Van Yeet. That guy he's sick.
The Drake doppelganger. He's like an actual baller now.
No, he is a baller.
It's like, okay, is this like a
He
thing?
was a baller last year.
Yeah, he was
like I'm saying last year was like a fluke. It seemed like, but now he's like legit.
Right.
The really good point guard.
Right. Okay. All right. So you got the Rocket. Here, just to recap real quick before we sign off. Reggie is predicting the Lakers in 4 against the Raptors. Lynch has taken Clippers over Bucks. Vince has taken Lakers over 76ers. And I'm picking these Clippers over the Celtics in the finals. So
7.
Yeah, I'm not okay. I said 6 or 7. You didn't. You're the only one putting numbers on it. All right. But we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this and figure out. Obviously, if neither of the Lakers teams make the finals, something catastrophic has happened. And it obviously will ruin everybody's prediction here. But we'll keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on Reggie's predictions of what he believes will happen. Obviously, he has a vendetta against the Celtics.
I think Tatum's going to get exposed. That's all I think is going to happen.
I can't wait for you to eat this crow. It's going to be awesome. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys listening at The Chunk Pod. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Anybody for the greater good of the NBA bubble. What do you guys got? Anything besides before we get out of here? Yeah, I didn't think so.
This next Friday it starts, the 30th?
30th. Yep.
It's a Thursday.
Thursday night is the they do two. They're going
Thursday on TNT.
We're getting Lakers Clippers that night.
Dude, we get Chuck and Shaq back.
I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. It's gonna be awesome.
Go.
It's gonna be great. But
Isaac's back.
Yes, we're getting the very first night. Game 2 of that night is Lakers Clippers. It's gonna be spicy.
Does anyone care about the first game?
Who has it? Isn't it Grizzlies and somebody? Or is it Zion? I think it is. The Pelicans, I think, might be the first game, but they're trying to get Zion hard, obviously. Pause. Don't take that out of context.
It's Utah, New Orleans.
Yeah, it's Utah and the Pelicans. It's COVID, Team COVID versus the. They're trying to get Zion COVID instantly. That's the awful move.
Orlando, Brooklyn, Friday at 2:30. Let's go.
All right. Obviously, we'll be back. We'll be following up the antics of the playoffs. We might have to do a pre-playoffs after the 8 games are done in a couple weeks. We'll get back on and we already laid our predictions down, but we'll see how we're feeling about them as the playoffs are about to start. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. We will be back here soon. This has been a Chunk podcast. We haven't done one of these in quite a while, but if you're watching or listening to the Drafters live, we appreciate you doing that as well. But we'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
Peace out.